Welcome to the Money Hacks podcast. I'm Kim Kent, and today we are talking about the question of, should I join my income with my partner? This is a question I've received a lot as a money coach for women and families, and I have a personal story attached to this where I had one of the biggest lessons, like beautiful life-changing lessons and life-changing moments with my partner, now husband, when it comes to money. So I'm going to talk into this, and I'm actually just going to, I guess, project and share my opinion on this and back it up with how it works when it comes to the alignment of being in alignment with universal law and energetics with money, and what could be blocking you. Now, you don't have to agree or you don't have to take my word as gospel here, but what I challenge you, what I want from you is I want to challenge your way of thinking, especially if you are in a space right now where you are so fucking scared to join your income because of you both have different spending habits, or you want to hold on to your money, or you don't feel safe, or whatever it might be, and we'll dive a little bit further into that. But I am coming to you from my beautiful room in my villa north of Ubud in Bali. And if you've been watching the previous episodes on on YouTube, you would have seen the backdrop, but I have now changed it. I'm on my bed and the lighting is better, and I can charge the laptop while I talk to you. But I get to now look at the palm trees while I talk to you. So I can channel that through you into your speaker or your screen, however you're consuming this. So this is a really what's the word, like a big topic close to my heart, as I said, because I have a really big personal experience with this. So should I join my income with my partner? Now, if you're listening to this and you're single or you're not in a relationship, this is just really good to listen to for that time that if you do get into a relationship, right? Now, you might be in a relationship and not married, or not de facto, or not engaged, and maybe it's a fresh relationship. So I'm just going to share my opinion on this. Like, if you came to me and be like, Kim, I'm hiring you as my coach and I need help with this, this is what I would do. And I will empower you to make the best decisions for yourself, based on my experience, okay? And what I had to learn and go through to get to where I am. So we have to understand that money is just energy, and money is just one way that you contribute to the household. So I am going to speak that you're already in a relationship, okay, and you're living together, because usually you don't join incomes if you're not living together. And again, I wouldn't recommend that, because when you start to live together, you're starting to create a life together. So from living together onwards, anything before then, keep your income separate, sort out yourself, because you haven't just decided to live together, like to join the living space, okay? And then probably a whole other conversation I can have around that. But what I want for you, if you've been living together now, if you've been living together for more than 12 months and you're in Australia, you consider de facto, which whether you're married or not, you're pretty solidified relationship. Like if she was to hit the fan or you guys were to break up, there's a level of entitlement that is very similar to marriage. Okay. So if you look at it that way, whether you join money or not, there's some entitlement financially. So 12 months or more de facto or engaged, you're prepared to get married, you just haven't got married yet. Well, if you're married, you have signed a certificate. A marriage is a business deal, okay? It literally was back in ancient times. Well, was it ancient? Like, maybe not ancient, medieval time. I don't know, when marriage started. It was a business deal to join families, to connect bloodlines, and like to connect levels of like power, okay? People weren't married for love. You were just lucky if you fell in love. We all watch Game of Thrones, and we all watch, what was something I watched recently that was all around this? Oh, we all watch Bridgerton. That's like the new one. You're just hopeful to marry for love. And this wasn't only a couple of centuries ago, less than that. Okay. So marriage is a business deal. Okay. You're coming together and you're bonding and you're signing a contract, because you know that you can you don't need marriage to prove your love. Okay. Sometimes we need it for the commitment or whatever, but it's also, if you get married, it's very much a cultural thing. Okay. It's like what you do. Okay. Now, if you're married, I 100% believe you join your income. And this is coming from the woman, the girl, the woman who was so shit scared to join her income with her husband. Okay. She never wanted to. She wanted to stay separate. And I'm going to share my story with this. But I believe that you join, because if you've decided to sign a contract and create a life together, money is just one way in which you contribute to your household. Okay. There are so many different avenues of contributions, and you have to understand that money isn't the only contribution. Excuse me. We grow up believing that money is the main contribution, like who's bringing the most money, and money is power and all that shit. But contributing looks in different forms. There's safety, there's nurturing, there's providing hygiene, there's providing the love and the sanctuary. And yes, there's the money, and then there's been the organized and the all the things. There's so many different ways you can contribute. Okay. The future planning. So money is just one way you contribute. Now, if you're married, you join, okay, because you are making a life together. And I can tell you, and my story is like not chronological, right? I'm going to go backwards and forwards. But by joining, you create a total amount that you then get to work off and build your life together with. Now, what you need in place for you to join and it to be effective and for it to work is you need structure. Because I know right now that you're afraid to join your income with your husband because you hate his spending habits because you're good at saving and he's really shit, right? Or the other way around. They won't join with you because they know that your spending habits are terrible because you constantly spend, or you don't trust, or I'm going to share some other deeper reasons which was my reason. That's why you don't want to join, because there's no structure in place to support you joining and building your financial future together. So this is why I do what I do, okay? Because I help you get my signature money blueprint and set it up for your life and your business. But if you're a business owner, but you pay yourself from your business and you have a life blueprint. This blueprint is the perfect structure for you to create financial freedom with your life and your relationship, okay? So let's talk about my story. Oh, and I recommend this if you're engaged or de factoed and you know you're creating this life together. I do encourage it, but have the structure in place to support you guys so you're on the same wavelength, you're on the same playing field, okay? There's no hierarchy, there's no tit for tat, there's no scorekeeping, because that's unhealthy. So now let's backtrack to my experience and why I'm so fucking passionate about this decision. And because I've done the work now in myself I trust myself no matter what. I've built the stability within myself that no matter what happens with my husband, financially, I'm always going to be okay. Okay. So that's why you do the work on yourself too. So I hadn't done that. I was so unstable. I was so like searching for externally for validation, more money, outside things to solve my problems, someone to come save me. Now, we got married in the March of 2018. What year do we get married? 2018. And it was 6 months after that I'd started doing the work on myself, that I finally decided to invest in myself. And I started to learn about money management and healing my own money mindset and all those things. And it was then that we decided to join. So there was a solid 6 months of not joining after being married, which isn't that much time, but we lived together for 2 years before that. We've been together since 2009, but there was a few long stint breakups. So it's not like I met him 2 years later, we got married, and I'd only known him for 2 years. Like, he was in my life for ages. So we were like, we're ready to get married, you know? It was our next step. I was shit scared to join money because we both came from scarcity, but I was the hoarder, never going to have enough, don't spend money, hold on to money. But I never fucking had any, because for some reason I'd still spend it and I had no savings to show. So I'm like, what the fuck was going on? Where Daniel was the happy-go-lucky, like, we can always earn more money, spend, but like never pay the bill, like never pay the adult responsibility, just spend the money on drinking, going out, live paycheck to paycheck. And then like, if a big bill comes in, I'll deal with it that week, and then like be broke that week because you spent all that money on that big bill, and then just wait for your next paycheck and then you can party again, all of that. Does that sound familiar? There was a level of me doing that too. Like, I never future planned. I never organized my money well. It was just like, I was just always trying to stay on top of bills, and I'd still just spend and justify my spendings. Okay. So I sat down with my coach after I started learning. I had set up my wealth principles and then started to work on a bit of a blueprint, which Side note, this is how I started, and I've learned more things since then. And I've developed a blueprint that's like a million times better, that captivates masculine and feminine energy and everything. It's not a cookie cutter, but I started with a bit of a cookie cutter, and that was fine. It was about getting organized. And I sat down with a coach at the time, and I sat there and I showed her everything. And I was like, this is what my plan is for my income. This is what I make. And it was all about Kim, all what I earned. And she's like, and she knew I just got married. She's like, why are you like, where's your husband's income? I was like, oh yeah, well, he can sort out himself. Why are you not joining incomes? I was like, oh, you know, like he's not that good with money. Like, I just want to be in control of this. And she just stopped me and she was like, Kim, which one of your parents got stabbed in the back financially? And I just burst into tears. And it was my mum. Did she get stabbed in the back? No. Did I perceive she got stabbed in the back by what I heard and what I saw growing up? Yes. Okay. Through the divorce, I just saw all of her pain, and Dad just never shared the pain. I thought he was an asshole back then, and now I'm like, he just didn't want to burden his children. Okay, so I've done all the work, but that's neither here nor there. I perceived growing up that my mum had less and my mum was fucked over, okay, and was left with nothing, which was not true, but like, well, that's the story. And that's what I saw. So she was like, you are afraid that that's going to happen to you. So you don't want to join your money so you can have the full control of your money, and you're not letting go of anything. Now, by you doing this, you're manifesting a divorce. And I was just like, fuck. Like consciously, you're right. Subconsciously, I'm like, I am still afraid. So I went home and I talked to Daniel and I was like, I'm really nervous about this, but I want us to come together because we're married. And he's wanted to as well. And I said, but we need to have a structure in place. We need to have something that it's going to support both of us, especially that I was doing the work on my money stuff. Daniel wasn't. He did do a bit of personal development and some growth, but I've always gone first. Okay. I've always been the PD junkie. I've always wanted to grow and evolve, and he has too, but I have gone first. Okay. And don't get me wrong, there was a massive fucking teething period because he still felt restricted because we were following this new plan, because he just wanted to lavishly spend. Literally the week that we implemented coming together and working out our numbers and following the blueprint, he was like, well, what if I want to buy a record player? And I was like, well, yeah, how much? He's like, they're $400. I'm like, well, if you're putting $100 into your like no questions asked account, do whatever the fuck you want with, you buy it in 4 weeks. And he's like, yeah, but I want it now. Like, why can't I have it now? Why the fuck do I have to wait? And this is that spending behavior that it's like, well, you can have it now, but then we're not going to cover the bills. And then this is why there's the fights. And this is why we never feel like there's enough, because you're buying things that are more of a luxury before the lifestyle necessities are covered. Okay. But anyway, so I just want you to know that it took us a solid 12 months to iron it out, because I was following a plan that wasn't perfect. I learned so many ways of how to do it better and how to align better with the universal laws of money. And this is now, we're 6 years on, 2018, 6 years on. I've been teaching my blueprint for a few years now. It's like a million times upgraded than what I originally learned, because I've pulled from all different places that I've learned from, and my own, what just makes sense to me. And it works for everyone who comes into my world. But look, with saying it, like Daniel and I never fight about money anymore. We used to fight all the time. Before we got married, before we joined incomes, we would fight. Now we never fight about money. We aren't we aren't human. We aren't perfect. We shit each other off all the like with so many different little things. You know, we're married and we live together, but we don't fight about money. We come together as a team. We have our system in place. We look at it and we make decisions and come together. And there are times where like I might want to spend something that I will run it past him because I want to respect him and his decisions. And you kind of like weigh out the pros and cons and see the return on investment, and you make the decisions from there. But when we do this together, it's so much healthier. Like, I'm recording this from Bali. I'm on a 7-day trip, kid free. He didn't come. Like, I am here doing this, and then I'm coming back again. Like, I'm spending money that could go towards something that he would want more of. But then when he has these things that he wants, we talk about it and we fit it into our blueprint. So anyway, let's backtrack. We came together, and even though I said like we still fought a bit and there was still a teething period, energetically, the moment that I allowed myself to trust the process and come together, it's like it's not likely, it is what happened. We energetically respected ourselves more. As I said, we still had our trauma that would trigger things along the way as we were ironing out the creases. But we came together as a team. We weren't acting as separate entities. When you're married or when you choose a partner that you want to spend your life with, you're coming together energetically. You can't leave money in Pandora's box. You can't leave money to the side. That is one area of life, right? Otherwise, this is where problems start. So we came together and we have so much respect for ourselves financially. And there have been times where I've earned more, there have been times where he's earned more, but we put in our contribution, which is an equal percentage, like based off what we earn. And look, I'm even now in a position because I am the more ambitious, financial ambitious one, where my business earns twice as much as his work. And it's in a position where it supports our lifestyle because I have more choices that I want to make, and he wants to be the stay-at-home dad. But we come together and it's not his money and it's not my money, it's our money. Okay. So the way it's bonded our relationship and brought us closer and had more trust with each other, but we had the structure to follow. So we're saving for our next house. We've paid off a shitload of debt. We could upgrade our car when we had a baby. All fine. We save like 17% a week. No, it's 21% now. Plus we put aside for travel, plus we cover our bills, plus we have our no questions asked, do whatever the fuck we want with money. Okay. But we are empowered and we make decisions that are smart. We can make sacrifice when necessary, but we also do not restrict. Okay. We follow our plan and it provides us so much financial freedom. And I want this for everyone else. Okay. So yes, it's scary to join your income, but as long as you have the structure in place, like I just thought of an example here. You want to go skydiving or you want to go bungee jumping. Fucking scary, right? I have never been because I find it scary. You need the structure in place. You need the backpack, that your parachute packed the perfect way. You need the straps around your feet for your bungee jump. Because of course, if you jump without the structure in place to support you, it's not going to look pretty. Okay. That's why I don't want you to join your income without a structure that's going to support you, your wealth and your financial goals. That you're in a thriving mentality, not a scarcity, fighting each other with your own childhood money trauma. Okay. We don't want that. So highly recommend get a structure in place. Of course, you can come and work with me and learn how I do it and how I teach others to do it. Or you can find something that works for you. Of course, I recommend my program and my blueprint. You can go read up the testimonials on the webpage and see how other people are creating this incredible trust and security and stability within their relationship. And they're stopping the fights with money. They're trusting each other more. They're just growing such strong, beautiful, bountiful relationships. And like mine and Daniel's communication is next level. And we never used to have that, right? Communication is key. We don't get emotional when it comes to money. And if anything does get triggered emotionally, okay, we are now the versions of ourselves. We have the structure in place to manage it, to deal with it, to communicate, and not just shut each other down and get shitty at each other. I want that for you so much. And maybe you're single and you're like, I would fucking love that in a relationship. I saw my parents fight about money or saw someone get fucked over or hurt or the pain, and maybe you had that in the past. Maybe your past relationship fucked you over. And you're scared again. If you're going to stay in that space, you're never going to live fully. You're never going to have the financial freedom you really desire. There's always going to be a block, a trap. Okay. So I really want you thinking about how I can get the best structure in place. So, and this is what I do, whether no matter what your circumstance is in relationships, we work with you as a person, an individual. No matter what your circumstance is, you have the structure in place for your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. You're following the blueprint to support you, whether there's lots of money, whether there's a dip in money, whether there's a life circumstance that's happened and you need money, whether you want to invest. You are not wobbly. You do not get triggered. You have the concrete slab foundation down. Yeah. You feeling me? So if you want to learn this and you want to learn it from me, go to the Wealthy as Fuck website. The link is in the show notes. Literally just search wealthyaf.com.au. Go check it out. Go suss it out. Go stalk me on Instagram. I'll say this every episode. Go check it out. Reach out. Ask for more information. Or you can ask me questions. I'm not going to sell to you. I'm not going to be like, oh, you have to join. No, fuck no. It's very exclusive to join the program. Like you go through the applications and you actually see if it's the right fit for you before you make any decisions. Okay. And we're here to support you no matter where you're at. And of course, I share a lot of free stuff as well, just like this podcast. Okay. Well, food for thought. I hope you enjoy. And I'd love to hear how that made you feel. Did it trigger anything inside of you? Did it bring up something that you're worried about? Did it empower you? Did it change your way of thinking? I'd love to know. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day.